Okay, so now that we have our chicken breaded, I want to talk about storage of chicken. So chicken like this is fantastic to store in the freezer because it thaws easily, it freezes really well. In fact, it stores better than just plain meat because I find the breadcrumb coating protects it and stops it getting freezer burn. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a nice big container, and I like to store this in layers, and between each layer put in wax paper. So I've already gotten, so the wax paper that I use is this one, and so I just have them cut to size. I have to fold a little bit just to fit in. So you want it cut to size so it fits the entire base of the container, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lay down the chicken so that they're not exactly touching. And the reason you do this is so that when they freeze, you are going to be able to, so they can be quite close but not overlapping. And when you do that, and if you just move them so they're not exactly touching, they won't freeze together, and then you can pick out individual sizes and you can take exactly what you want and what you need, which is fantastic. Now, if you've got some leftover breadcrumbs or some leftover flour, I like to sprinkle that a little bit over. That further stops it from sticking. But mostly I like to use breadcrumbs. It's just I don't have a whole lot right now. So again, next layer, another piece of wax paper, make it fit perfectly, and then lay down your chicken pieces so they're nice and close together, but not overlapping in any way, so that you can go and then they won't stick together. And they might stick together a little bit, and that's okay. If they're only stuck together a little bit, you can kind of snap them apart. But the idea is that mostly they're not touching. So I just sprinkled over a little bit more breadcrumb. Again, that helps with, I think it helps with the freezer burn. I think it helps keeping it from sticking. Now, I don't have scientific evidence of that. I've not run a control study, but that is my inclination, and that's what's worked for me. Okay, see what I can pack in. Try and be efficient, get as much as you can in without being tempted to overlap it. And you can pack these up, and you can put quite a lot of breadcrumb. I'm being a little sparse just because I'm running out, so I don't have too much. But I like to be quite generous with the breadcrumb that we sprinkle over. I really feel like it helps with it not sticking. And so that's it. I'm going to keep going. I try and fill the container up. The more you fill the container up, the less likely you are to have freezer burn. So freezer burn is not bad. The food's not off or anything like that, but it does change the texture and flavor a little bit. And with your last layer, see this container is almost full, do make sure you put a layer on top. And you want it so, with freezer burn, you just really want to make sure that you're minimizing the amount of air that the food is exposed to. So I'm putting the last layer on. Oh, I could probably fit another layer of chicken in there. Let me see how brave I am. Yeah, I think I can fit another layer of chicken in there. So you want to make the container quite full, so that you're minimizing the amount of air. There we go. And one more piece of wax paper. There we go. Lid on top, and then always label with the contents, and I like to label it with the date that I'm storing it. Some people use a use by date, but I'm not always sure what the use by date ought to be. So rather than that, so there's no ambiguity, I use the storage date, and then you almost have like a batch number. So if there's, for some reason, there's something wrong, you use dirty hands and you're finding that the food is making you sick or something like that, then you can all go and search for the food that you stored by that date, and so you almost have a batch number. So it just makes it a little bit safer. Okay, that's it. Thanks.